Hello everyone, EC22X here. I know it's been a while, but let me present a new series of videos that we'll be doing. This is the Raid Draft League, a Pokemon draft league that I have graciously been given the chance to create and host. The rules in the draft data stuff, if you're interested, are gonna be in the description below. But these are 14 players. They're very close friends of mine that willingly subject themselves into this testing. And we're gonna be talking a little bit about the draft, their teams, and then I'm gonna spice it up with a power ranking at the end. Joining me into this podcast video, whatever you wanna prefer call it, is Hannah S. Hannah, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Jess, and I go by Hannah S online. I am a VGC player, and sometimes stream on Twitch. And yeah, I'm also just helping out with the league, and I'm really excited for it.
And this is the draft order. Funnily enough, the coach of Ace, he's so hype, and he's one of my best friends. And people were, all of our friends were saying it was rigged, but it's really funny because we actually ended up re-rolling 7 times, and this is what ended up happening. And so I was never first onto that 7 roll. But yeah, he's our first coach. Then the second coach is Catfish, whose team name is Peter City Puffs. Then the next coach we have is Pato with Den Hag Heroes. Apologies, Pato, if I'm mispronouncing the team. Then we have Falarbor Fury Refs. Pocoyo is their coach. On the 5th spot, Justified Joe is coaching Justified Jinx. I love the picture, very, very cute. 6, we have Nips. Nimbasa City Noodle Masters is the full name of the team. Then Volcaronas has Fruity or Tootie, depending on how you know them. They're their coach. Kansas J. Luchas has Angela Hunter as their coach. Saigar Kai is managed by Diamond 5. Undertaking Umbrians is being taken by, or again managed by Mega Umbreon. Ally Switchy's Pain is actually another our Mawel Murkros coach. This one is very funny. Our Loaf of Bread is the coach of So High's fan club. Big fan. Love the name, love the logo. Shallow Supporters is gonna be coached by Atmosphere BGC, aka Nathan. And our last team, nonetheless, is Binu Cole No Skill, managed by Phil. And yeah, this is our 14 teams with really, really cool names and graphics for this draft. Personally biased, I really like Bino No Skill. So High's fan club is also really funny, especially the logo. And then probably my 3rd favorite is gonna be the Falafel Fury Brats, just because Pukoyo actually told me that his team, he was like, oh, I just wanted a nice sound F word with Fury Rats. And I was like, okay, well, we got this edgy logo just for him. Any favorites, logos or names teams for you, Hannah?
I also really like Sohai Fan Club and Vino Skill. I also really like Atmosphere's team, the Shallow Supporters, because just both Shallows being there are adorable. And also Justified Jinx. Look at the photo of Jinx and Smoochum.
I am so glad Joey found a picture, because I went through a couple of Jinx pictures and I did not I was like, yeah, I need Joey to look at it. Anyway, but yeah, that's the order, and we're gonna start talking a little bit about each team now. So first team is Sohives. He started with Dragapult, then got Incineroar, which is a very strong core, and then moved to Ferrothorn. I actually was a little hesitant about the Ferrothorn, but he told me I need a Steel and Grass type. I was like, okay, fine, Ferrothorn. And weather control was very important. We, as the Vino Cole team implied, our last Phil actually ended up getting Vino Cole as their 2 picks as the last player in the first round, and so he felt like he needed a little bit of a weather control, and rain is still pretty good, especially because we'll be seeing a couple of like sand Pokemons around. Then by round 5, he was like, well, what do I need? And I personally did help him a little bit with suggestions. Togetic is probably one of the best of the redirections after Togekiss got taken. Don't ask me why he drafted Slurpuff and Maractus. I'm still iffy, but Maractus at least has like Storm Drain. Then he came to, unfortunately, as the first player in the rounds, he did get last pick on the 2 free points picks. So a lot of the S tiers were taken by that point. And what you usually want to do at that point is, hey, get your A or B tiers depending on how you go. And I think Manectric and Diggersby, especially Diggersby, was a pretty high steal for him. I think he had to, given like it's like the only, probably one of the few ground times Pokemon's left in the draft. And then he ended up with Kindra and Covalion. Covalion, the only justified one out of the 3 justified main ones. And then Kindra, just to one of the best Swim Swift mons left to pair it up with Pelipper. Hannah, do you have any thoughts about his team?
Yeah, I really like just the Fire Water Grass core that they have, and then also just like kind of all the mons that you've talked about before, and then specifically having the beat up Cobalion as an option is just like super dangerous, because if there's a team that doesn't have redirection or like a way to stop it, then like it can just win games for him right away. And also, even I agree about Manectric, because like it can do so much like support with like Lightning Rod. It has it's like a fast mon, base 105 speed. It has Light Screen, Snarl, Eerie Impulse, and it actually can set rain for him. So yeah, there's like a ton of options there. Yeah, so I definitely think this is like a well-drafted team.
Yes, except for a Slurpuff. If you're hearing this so high, I still don't agree with the Slurpuff.
Why?
I don't know. It's just I think I had it in a previous draft and it was like very useless to me, but it was probably a singles draft.
Oh yeah, I also meant like, why did you pick this so high?
Oh yeah. Oh okay. All right. The next one is Peter City Puffs, coached by our own and best and awesome and wholesome Catfish. Catfish actually has started a really strong draft in my opinion. Got the Togekiss Excadrill. Actually a really good start for him, given that just like so high, like he only could pick one mon and not have like a lot of the S tiers at that point were taken. So the fact that he actually got to get this Excadrill Togekiss pick is actually really nice, because I actually know a coach, P-Dots, who actually started with that core, and it's just, you know, if you get Excadrill, people might not grab as many Sandmons. And then we got Raikou. Like, Raikou is it's a Pokemon that pretty much a lot of people sleep on, especially between like Entei and Suicune. Then you got your Prankster more on Sableye. And by round 5, he realized that there was not a lot of Sandmons left, and Gigalith was his pick. I really like Gigalith. Good TRT mode, just bulky, weakness policy. I do not know what Reniculus does, and I assume Vaporeon was a little of just, you know, you need your C tier pick. And then the free points, I think Scrafty and Rotom Heat really strong. Articuno and Jigglypuff, I do know Articuno is Catfish kind of pet Pokemon, and there was some memes involved. People were like, Catfish, you should get Jigglypuff because it's part of your logo, and he was like, why not? So he did. Any thoughts, Sana?
Yeah, I also like this one a lot. And I think what's really interesting is just like you were talking about the Togekiss Excadrill core. It's like a strategy that some people do in draft leagues is to like pick a core that's really strong from a previous series. So this is like a really strong Series 4 core, and then kind of also like Series 5, but not as much. But like it went out of like kind of style by like Series 7 just because there were so many other threats. But it's there aren't all those threats on every person's team now. So yeah, it's like a really like it's like sometimes you just like can't go. You'll never have like a bad team if you pick those.
Absolutely. I do think I didn't touch it with Sohai's team, but one thing I will be a little bit worried about for Catfish is probably he's very, very, even though he has Raikou and Rotom, he's still kind of weak to a strong Watermon. He does not have a, I don't know if Renicolas learns a grass move, but I just realized you have Excadrill, Kikaliv, and Rotom Heat, who do not want to take Max Geysers usually.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Maybe Reuniclus gets Grass Knot, but that would probably be it. And also, you wouldn't want to rely on that. So yeah, that would be interesting to see how the team does against strong types, like a Primarina or something.
Yes, because we do have a couple teams that got really, really strong Watermons. But let's move on to our next team. Team number 3. We got Pato as the coach of the Den Haag Heroes. And it's very funny because Pato, when we started drafting, just a fun fact, Pato actually had 3 picks. And all, like, both Sohive and Catfish sniped his first and third pick. So I was like, oof. Like he was guaranteed to get one of the 3, given that he was a third in the draft. But it was really funny how like he just got sniped left and right. Which, by the way, there was a lot of snipes going on in the draft. Anyway, he picked Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is such a good mon, especially in draft leagues. Versatility. You can be an offensive Grimm. You can just be a great support with Prankster. Also the G-Max news ability. After that, you have Arcanine. I did not expect him to actually grab Arcanine, but given like how his draft ended, Arcanine makes sense. Intimidate, fast Snarl, fast Will-O-Wisp, just a little bit of speed control too. And then you got Rotom and Lele and Drifloon. 3 monsters that also can be very offensive and very supportive depending on how he wants to use it. Ally Switch, Will-O-Wisp again. A lot of really support heavy threats that it can happen. And then you got like a good DPS with Galarian Darmanitan and Duran. And yeah, I mean, overall I think it's a pretty balanced team. Maybe sometimes we'll miss some KOs depending on how things are getting paired, because I do think heavy hitters are mainly Darmanitan and Duran. And I mean, Darmanitan at least doesn't have to Dynamax. Duran absolutely will need to Dynamax. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I also like this team. I like that like almost every mon can be a support or an offensive mon. And especially like they're even like Pokemon like Darmanitan could end up being like it gets Will-O-Wisp, it gets Yawn, it gets Sunny Day, and it gets Taunt. So there are a ton of different things that you could do with Darmanitan, where like the person that he's playing will have to account for like all of the offensive things that Darmanitan can do, and then all of a sudden like you get hit with a Yawn right after you Dynamaxed in front of it, and then you're in huge trouble. So I think yeah, that's one thing to watch out for. And then also like Dragonite, especially in draft, can just do like a ton of damage. It can't be intimidated. And yeah, and even like there are multiple ways. If you have like a fast mon that can set Sunny Day, you can like use Chlorophyll Vileplume. So like really there is like nothing on the team that isn't a threat. The only thing I think is that there isn't really a Trick Room mode on the team, and you're kind of relying on Cradily by itself. Oh, and I also, when we were talking about logos, I realized I didn't mention this team, but the logo of G-Max Grimmsnarl is super cool.
The power of Google. As you can see, there's a watermark in there. But I agree. I think we have a couple Trick Room teams, and I believe Pato at least fights one of them. I don't know if he fights all of them. So definitely we'll need to be very careful when facing them. I don't know if Drifloon like will learn in Prison or Trick Room, or Lele. I feel like maybe one of those. If not, I mean, you just make all your mons super bulky and slow. Most of the Pokemon, most of the mons he does have are are not like super fast either though. They're mostly med speed except for Arcanine and Sneasel, I think.
Yeah, and you could maybe do like screens with Grim and then like
or Iron Ball. Yeah, or Scary Face yourself too.
True. Oh my god.
So you're listening this, you know, here's me giving you tips. All right. Next team we got the Fowler War Fury Bravs, coached by Pocoyo. Pocoyo actually started really strong in my opinion. He got Amoonguss and Moltres and Raichu right away, uncontested, during the draft. And then added Klefki and Suicune, who I thought were really good additional supports. But I did feel like it was very support heavy. Unfortunately, in the later part of the draft, and I was helping Pocoyo see what, like, because of time zones, I knew what the mons he wanted to. Unfortunately, in the second half of the draft, he just kept getting sniped left and right. I think Centiskorch is actually a good pick, given what mons were left. Centiskorch also gets a G-Max move, so while it's not as strong as G-Max Wildfire, it's residual damage, and we all know how strong residual damage in general in a G-Max move is. And then Kangaskhan, I believe he wanted like a fake out user, and just like it's a C tier mon, right? Like he probably wasn't a fun sure. Now, when it came to the free points, as I mentioned, he got left and right. Almost every single mon he got a snipe. Like it was rough. He won the Landers, got Landers. He won the Kartana. Joey took Kartana. I do think that the fact that he got I do not know if Klefki learns Trick Room, but I do believe that he decided to go more on a Trick Room Clydo learns it. But he did probably want to swap a little too more a Trick Room heavy with Registeel and Rapier once he realized his choices. And then I really do like Crook. It might not be the best Pokemon out there, but it does get Moxie, it does Intimidate, and then a couple, you know, it's a strong Steel Ground type Dark. So I think overall, Pocoyo balanced it a little after like getting sniped left and right, and at least he got like, I don't know, at least he have 5 really strong Pokemons, and he just needed to like maybe add 1 or 2 to support it a little bit more. Any thoughts, Hannah?
I think when I first look at the first 6 that were drafted, it kind of just looks like a Series 7 team, or like Series 9. Plus with like Klefki over Grimmsnarl or something. So I think that on its own is really impressive, because like those are all like really like high like tier mons kind of. And so yeah, I think that itself is like really threatening, because like if you plan for Centiskorch and like try and beat Centiskorch behind screens, that's not that effective. And like you can also support it with your Impulse or with Snarl from Suicune, or you could like even do like you could use Amoonguss to like threaten people that are trying to take out any of the other mons, and yeah, and also like Moltres. So yeah, I think like it's just like a scary team overall. And also yeah, like you said about Crocodile, and even like Rhyperior is its own kind of like threat. So yeah, overall also like an impressive team.
A lot of weakness policy options.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be so scary.
It's like where is the weakness policy? That's when every week probably the big question. All right, our next team is the Justified Jinx. Coach is Justified Joey, and oh yeah, Joey started again. It's kind of similar to Pocoyo in my opinion. He started really strong. His 6 like are pretty scary. I mean 7 even. Like Regieleki Entei. Regieleki was really good in my opinion. Entei, I think I'm a little hesitant, but I mean you can't get Fake Out. You have Snarl, Bullson, Sacrifice are super scary. So I really like Entei. It's a better Arcanine in my opinion. And then you have your TR mode. I do know that Joey really likes his Goth plays, and went with the Gotorita because Gothitelle was an S tier, I believe. So makes sense for going to the budget version. Glacier, another really strong Pokemon. Tangela with the redirection. Bisharp, I believe it probably was to cover for a steel type, and the fact that it's Defiant was pretty good. And then, I mean, gotta draft your pet Pokemon, right? Like Jinx. I mean, Jinx is kinda scary. Okay, it's again like Gotorita. You're gonna, what's the move? The kiss move.
Yeah, lovely kiss.
Lovely kiss, yeah. And I just want to tell everyone that when Raichu Sing came out, Joey hit every single Sing in scrims with me, and I was like, I'm done. But I do believe Joey got a. I don't like the Sandaconda, but I do know why he wanted it, just to have a stronger like ground Pokemon. But I think he used his free points really well. Kartana, super strong. Gyarados, so good. Like Gyarados, Intimidate or Moxie, a flying Watermon. It's amazing. Like it knows, and the pool of moves on Gyarados is the reason why Mr. Gyarados is not a Metamon, but it's like so good. And Umbreon just being annoying. Fall Play, Snarl, John. Really good use of his free points. I think where he was positioned also allowed him really to use them. And I think overall it's a really strong team.
Yes, I agree, and I think like even covering his bases with like having redirection and like helping Handmons like just fit the team really well. And like the first like 7 look like a really just like a crazy hyper offensive core, like almost like a double horse core from series 9 or 7. But then like yeah, kind of he balanced it out with like the rest of the mons and the free picks. And like yeah, it's really hard to prep for like all of the threats here, and yeah, and cover everything week to week. And I also like agree about Gyarados because like I feel like in series 5 it was like a really good pick to the point where like it was on the ban list for series 6, I think. And part of that might actually have to do with singles, but yeah. And then like series 7 it just like went away because Regieleki exists, but like he also drafted Regieleki. So now there's just like this like void of like, okay, well that's its biggest threat, so what else is threatening it? And there are like other electric types and rock types, but it just like is a big advantage for him.
I think the second biggest advantage is in a draft league there's not a lot of Intimidate. And he covered it with Bisharp having Defiant, but it is a very physical heavy team. But because of the lack of Intimidate, and then like I said, you do have Entei and Bisharp to cover for that slight Intimidate problem. It's still like really good. But yeah, I think anyone fighting him should be mindful about, you probably want to be having an Intimidate user, or like at least try to nerf one of their Pokemon, because every single Kartana, Gyarados, Regieleki, Glacier, all those ones who Dynamax potentially, and they're hit so hard. So if you're not careful, they're gonna hurt. All right, so yeah, we like this team. I think really strong. And then we got Nimbasa City, coached by Nips. So I'm not gonna lie.
It gives me nightmare.
So my biggest pet peeve about Nip's team is that he has too many modes. You have the Colossal or Shiver mode that I can't believe anyone allowed it. Then you have the Lapras, Zapdos, Volcarona, Weavile mode. I believe he probably got Drampa because of all the weather months, which makes sense. Drampa is really annoying. I've used correctly. Not sure what Cursola or Beetle, if they're gonna see any gameplay. And then Conky's probably there for his TR matchup, because otherwise, there's no TR matchup except maybe Ditto and Conky. But yeah, it's just like there's a little bit of a lack of synergy, but he can make it work. definitely. It's just which mode is he gonna be working on, so at least people have to prep for both modes. And then just him trying to surprise, oh, I'm gonna bring this mode against this person instead. What are your thoughts?
Oh. Yeah, I think like it's like a double-edged sword, because like modes can also be really strong. And yeah, just like you were saying, like if someone preps for one and then he brings out another one, it's like they could just lose right away. But I mean, I think like it has a lot of potential, because like there's like something to be said about playing to like with the mons that you're comfortable with, and like he's really good at using Lapras and he's really good at using Zapdos. And Weavile gets fake tears, which is almost kind of like creating his Grimmzap Lapcore from Series 7. And so in that sense, like if you know you can play that really well, then like you're like already a step ahead of other people who are still trying to play their teams, like other teams. And then also like I think Volcarona is a really good pick, because like it can be a support mon, and it can also be like an offensive Quiver Dance, and it has dual stab. I also like Conkeldurr. Yeah, and also just like you have to, whenever someone drafts Cole, it's always scary, because like now you have to prep for Cole or it will just run through you. And also like Ditto, yeah, like a lot of the cores don't necessarily have a lot of synergy, so like it could not go well, but like if you play Ditto well, you can like prevent so many things. Like when I play Ditto in Series 12, like if there's a bad matchup that it has, you can just like let people boost up in front of you and like just figure out what mons they're going to kill, or like bait them into killing it, and then get your Ditto in to copy their boosted mon at the end, and then just like reverse sweep. So if he can play it well, then like it could be really scary as a defensive tool and offensive tool.
Yep, that's what I'm thinking too. So while there is a lack of synergy, I think it's up to Nips to make this work, and he will make it work. I mean, I know Nips enough, and he will scare people. Like I can watch him not like bring Cole for 3 weeks straight, and then like by the 4th week it's like, okay, I'm gonna bring Cole now, and like his opponent doesn't prep at all for it or something. So really, I mean, we shall see what happens. All right, next team is Tooties, the Voluka Volcaronas. So Tootie is actually known for bringing like 1 or 2 what people off meta mons and making them work. I believe in Series 10 he did pledges, and I mean even his drop alone. Sceptile is, I'm a little disappointed he doesn't have a Swampert, but he does have a Sceptile. Sceptile is like his pet Pokemon too, and I think the team at first glance might look that there's no synergy, but there's actually like both TR and non-TR modes that I really like. I mean, Cinderace with Liberal, super strong, especially in a draft league. Then you have Butterfree with Redirection, Fast Sleep Powder. You can belly drum a Snorlax. Primadina is just such a strong fairy water mon. Latias is another mon you can use like as a support. Then you got a strong ground type in Mamoswine. I'm not sure what Toxicity and Crowdon might do, but I mean Bronzor and Tornadoes, really strong 3 points mons from his side, and I think overall this is a very well balanced team.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that one important thing is that he got Swamp with Primarina and Sceptile, so like that's something you're like people are always going to have to prep against, because as soon as they both get their pledges off, like you would think that like your team is faster, but then like everything is now at half speed, and if you don't prep for that, then like all of a sudden you're going to get outsped by like a max speed Snorlax or something. And yeah, so or even like a Mamoswine that's like normally not the fastest mon, but all of a sudden is going to have like outspeeding you with Icicle Crash. So yeah, overall, I think this is a very good team. A lot of like almost anyone can play a supporting role or an offensive role, and even like I don't know, you have a ton of different options with like you have flying resists, ground resists, and you have like levitate Bronzong, but it could also be a like heat-proof Bronzong. So yeah, there's like definitely a ton of
so many options. And Tootie's probably one of the most creative team builders for this draft. This is not his first draft, and even though this is all among casual friends, I mean, I think whoever has them, they like, you just gotta be prepped for weird stuff. At least.
Butterfree.
Oh, good luck, Butterfree.
Butterfree can destroy a team in like 3 turns if you're not prepared for it.
I was joking with Sohai. I was like, you should have drafted Pikachu just for the power memes.
Yes, he's so good at Pikachu.
Exactly. Then we got Kansas J. Haluchas. I think that's how I'm gonna say it. All right, so I should have not questioned Angelo's draft. I was a little hesitant because I didn't like his Indeedee mail. And I was like, what does Meowstic mail do? He told me what Meowstic mail do, by the way. And that mon is broken. I don't know how he was allowed to do it. And then Circustry, probably one of the strongest electric mons he could have picked. Plus, his base special attack is actually really strong. So really good free points. Additionally, got the best out of the 3 sort of adjusted bonds, Terrakion. So not only does Angelo have now a Sunmo with Whimsicott and Charizard, which by the way, Charizard, not biased at all, but it is probably the best Pokemon, which the G-Max move, most broken. It's been meta since what, series 4, 6, 7? One of those, you know, freaking Sun. And then, you know, he steals Gastro Chew to stop like funny shenanigans. And then now you also have a Terrakion, a Beta Mo, and I don't know what the other 2 months does. Spoilers, that the Lola Marowak did get swapped for Halucha because Angelo decided to get peer pressure to have his pet Pokemon. So, although Halucha is actually really good, especially with what was the ability?
Unburden.
Yeah, Unburden. So, actually a really good trade for him between Alolan Marowak for Halucha, since it can probably potentially pair with the Indeedee Mail. And then so Duradulon is one of those Pokemons where I think it gets to shine a lot in draft leagues. There's a lot of redirections, and as you can see from his team, it's not very good for Trick Room. So Duradulon is probably gonna be his main way to stop Trick Room, and Gastrodon is probably his secondary mon to be around. Obviously, well, there's Imprison Trick Room too from Indeedee Mail, but that is a little hard in a best of 3 sometimes you keep it. But yeah, I do like that he ended up going Togepi, because Togetic and Togekiss got taken. So all the redirection mons, I believe, ended up being taken, except for Indeedee Female, because it was an S tier, and given that it's an S tier and it's just a support, not as good in my opinion. So, any thoughts about Angelo's team, Hannah?
I really like Xerxes also. I like the team overall. Meowstic is terrifying. It can literally status you in like every way except for burn, and also freeze, but like in every way. Duraludon is also good. I'm not sure what the reasoning for G-Max Duraludon was compared to regular.
That was that's just a picture.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because otherwise, not having Steel Spike boosts would.
Yeah. Sorry, it's just a picture.
Okay. Yeah, and yeah. So overall, I think good use of mons there. It does seem a little heavy on support mons, which like probably is good, but like you kind of rely a lot on Charizard and Duraludon, and then like the first 2 free picks. So that could be interesting, and also like mons like Cramorant and Halucha don't really want to Dynamax. So in that way also you could kind of like be struggling with kind of like not a lot of versatility, but also you could always do something like Cramorant Surf to activate like Tracheon's weakness policy. So like there's a lot of really good strats here, or even like
Gastro Cramoran, Storm Drake. Oh god.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Angelo is actually a very seasonal draft player. Much like Tootie, they both have been in a couple like Series 9 draft leagues, so expect some weird stuff sometimes from them. But I'm very excited because I do believe Tootie and Angelo do play against each other in these rounds. All right. Let's go with the next team. We have the Saigar Kai, coached by Diamond. It's actually really funny. Diamond was a little sad that he gets T-Tar and gets Dust Club, but all the Sandmons get taken from him.
No.
He was very sad about it. Yeah, except for Dracovish, but I mean, I think Fisher's Ren is still better. I mean, yeah, right? It's the you don't want Strongjaw. Sorry, yes. You still want Strongjaw in my opinion over Fisher's over the sand thing that makes you faster. I don't know. At least I will. I don't know how I feel about Diamond's draft. Like I think it partially because he got sniped. He had to compensate in a way to like make his draft, because I do think like his draft is a little bit all over. I can see his main 3 months that he's probably gonna bring every week in my opinion are probably Dracovish, Tyranitar, and Dust Club. I'm not sure about like this team is he didn't get a Storm Draymon, so this team again it's similar to I believe what was it, Catfish? Yeah, it's similar to Catfish. Very, very weak to Watermons. You have Heatran, Lando, Dugtrio, T-Tar technically. I mean, that's probably why he ended up getting beatable. I just can't see the synergy. I don't know, Hannah, you have any thoughts about this team?
I really like Tyranitar, Dusclops, and Tangrowth. Not necessarily like that they synergize, but just like Tangrowth is super strong, and it's like you can do like redirection, like you have sleep support with sleep powder, and it also like can be offensive if it needs to, and also like you can technically, if you wanted to, you could boost things, like you could max Quake and then boost everyone else against water types, so that could be good. But yeah, like I think it does struggle with synergy, but I think there are a lot of like potential mons that could work, like Helping Hand from Dusclops with like Vicious Rend and like Scarfish's Rend, or like Landorus Eye has a lot of potential. Heatran is always good in draft, and like it's kind of hard to like take it out when like you have a ton of flying mons. You have like Landorus also to protect it, and then there are also like there are multiple mods of competitive, which is what I find really interesting on this team. So you can't really necessarily intimidate stuff if like Articuno Galar is going to be on the field.
You're right, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And like it can also set Tailwind. It can do a lot of random things that you're just like not expecting, and then all of a sudden it just sweeps your team. Does Alolan Dugtrio get Arena Trap, or is it just regular Dugtrio?
I am pretty sure it should get Arena Trap. Otherwise, I would be very weirded out that he got Alolan over a normal one.
So that's really scary too. It's like Nasty Plot, if it gets Nasty Plot, Articuno, and then Arena Trap on Trio, and it's just like, or even like, I don't know, Arena Trap with like Landorus Eye. And also competitive Wigglytuff, even though like Wigglytuff can't live any hits. I just remember Wolf using Wigglytuff in that Series 5 draft league. And so that's why I still am like scarred by seeing Wigglytuff Dynamax at like +2.
Oh, actually, I'm wrong. It does not get Arena Trap. It actually gets Sand Veil and Sand Force.
Okay, so it was another mon to go with T-Tar.
Yeah, it's right for T-Tar. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, because you ended up getting T-Tar, and all the good ones except for Dracovish got taken. All right. Thanks for pointing that out, because now you know I do think Diamond is really good at being creative with his mons. I mean, we saw him like winning a tour with leftovers like support Ho-Ho, and I forgot what the other pair was, but just I would say like, yeah, you just gotta watch out because I do think he can get pretty creative and might catch some people off guard with it.
Yeah, and also I didn't really know anything about Hitmonchan, but like now I realize it gets bulk up, it gets coaching, it gets fake out. Oh god, inner focus and fake out. It gets helping hand. What the heck?
Yeah, no, Hitmonchan, I do really like that pick. I like I said, I think it's his free picks where I'm a little iffy about, but like he's 7, I think, are pretty strong.
Yeah. I should have kept the team builder open to look up moves during this.
Oh, good. This cat. Right, then we got the Undertaking Umbreons. Umbreon went with the classic fire, grass, water core right away. Rillaboom, really strong Pokemon. Blastoise, the really nice residual damage with Cannonade. Talonflame with the ability of setting, priority moves. Priority Tailwind. Then you have a Sand mode with Arctosoul and Hippowdon. And he also got a Stoutland too. So Sand mode pretty scary for the weather control here. And Confragios. That Pokemon that starts with C. Really, really bulky. I have perfect for a Trick Room. And I mean, I don't think a lot of Mon's probably gonna stop it from setting up. So really good choice there for the 7s. I do believe he struggled a little to use his free points wisely. Fungus is nice for a little bit of redirection, but I think you probably want to have a Sash on it over like Eviolite. I do like Obstacle a lot since it's a Defiant, or you can also be a what's the other one? So you can have Flame Orb.
Oh, Guts.
Guts, yeah, Guts. And then, I mean, Nihilego. Nihilego is probably the fastest mon outside of the weather in his team. So I really like that he has a fast mode that will cover his initial 7. I do not know what his Cavalier does though. At that one, I'm a little lost.
Yeah, I really like this team also. Like the first 4, really the first 6 also are just like a really good core. And those mons actually kind of go well with Sand too. And I mean, I guess not really Rillaboom because of like it makes ground attacks half health. But yeah, like a lot of these mons just like are a really good defensive core. Sand is nice. Stoutland can be like a really good support mon with Intimidate and then all of its support moves. Baby Doll Eyes, Helping Hand. Then it could also be like a Sand. I think it gets. I don't know if it gets Sand Rush, but it gets one of. I think it does. And then yeah, like Nihilego's great. And one thing that's interesting. Well, and also it can set Trick Room itself. And one thing that's interesting is like this team has a lot of options for redirection with Fungus plus like so you can do redirection plus Meteor Beam, redirection plus like. You could do like Iron Defense Body Press with like Cofagrigus or Blastoise. And so I think that's like all those kind of, they're not like actual modes, but they're just like kind of like mini modes within a team that are scary. And then a Scavalier also with Overcoat can, well, it also is a good Trick Room mode to have, or a Trick Room Sweeper or whatever. And then it can also prevent sleep, and because I feel like Blastoise could be weak to sleep, and just like a lot of the mons could be. So yeah, that should help. It seems like a very Umbreon team to draft.
Yes, absolutely. I'm really excited to see how he's gonna be using it. I know that there was like a couple of like people saying probably not understanding the team, but seeing, like I said, the 7 core months alone was a really good strong draft for him. And I think getting a super fast mode with the TR option still with Nihilego, and then getting like a redirection one probably will help him a lot into either setting up Trick Room or Iron Defenses, or even like just like to get like any control in the game, because Redirection is so broken in general. However, because it is a grass mon, I do believe most people will probably be mindful of bringing a safety Gogomon, at least. If you're not, well, I don't know what you're doing. But I mean, that's why he has Talonflame too. So you either sacrifice an item because you're scared of the fungus, and then he brings Talonflame. Talonflame just like gets a free Tailwind right away or something. So pretty cool. All right, next team is Allies team. He's the coach of the Mabile. Man, I'm sorry. I won't mess up Murkrows though. Murk. All right. So Ally is another very seasonal draft player. I mean, I can. He's draft alone. Given where he was in the draft, I think he ended up with a really nice draft in my opinion. Metagross, Porygon, already really strong. Another very strong TR team already showing up, by the way. So whoever I forgot said that you don't have a lot of TR options. Be mindful. And then Alolan Persian is really cool. Fake Tears, Snarl, like a fast Snarl, Fake Out, maybe gets Copycat. Then you obviously have your Tailwind setter with Latios. You can even have a beat up version with Berizion. And I mean, Milotic with competitive. I do not know what that Bulmasno do, but I assume it was a C tier. So, but I'm not gonna lie, I really like his free points. Landorus was free. He grabbed it really good because you have Milotic and Landorus. So you gotta pick: are you gonna intimidate the Landorus, or are you gonna like try to be mindful of the Milotic next to it? And he also gets his direction with Clefable. Excuse me. And okay, I'm a little biased. I love Blaziken. It's one of my pet Pokemon. So hopefully he does bring it. Blaziken is kind of broken. Speed boost, knows coaching, and not at all. Like, I can't believe no one picked Luxray. I was like molding over the fact that Sohive didn't want to pick Luxray either. But I was just like an Intimidate user. Luxray also very bulky. Like, it's a really good support mon because Luxray also learns like screens. So overall, like I think very support heavy. Since when I look at this team, it's like I feel like most of the time you want to be Dynamaxing their Lando or Metagross and Berizion, but like you don't really Dynamax Milotic that much. And I mean, you could Dynamax the other months, but like you know who his like strong 3 mons are, but then you need to be aware of like how they're getting supported, because I think that the supports are gonna make those three Dynamaxers like a lot stronger.
Yeah, definitely. I think like this team is a huge problem for a team kind of like Joey's, where I don't know, you're trying to do as much damage as you can, and then there's this team which can like redirect everything away or like mitigate it with like all the things that you mentioned, or set Trick Room on you. So yeah, it's like also a really scary balanced team. And also just like Metagross, did he have a late pick? Or is he in the middle?
He was in the late pick, yeah.
That's like kind of crazy to get as a late pick. Or it's just like a good value one, because like, I don't know, the draft leagues that I've played in Series 7, like if there are just not a lot of Metagross answers, especially like with Clear Body, so like, yeah, if you don't have Urshifu or like you can't stall max, then yeah, it can just win. And then even like Milotic, with like fake tears, you could do things like fake tears with Persian, and then like Dynamax Milotic, or something with like Latios, or even like Analytic Porygon 2. So yeah, there's just like a lot of options that you have to cover for. I don't really understand Abomasnow, but like if there are just a couple picks, then that's fine. The Virizion pick is kind of like, it looks really good that you have to cover for beat up, and every time I've seen it used, it's just very underwhelming. But it's just like, I guess it's good as like a threat to prepare for. And yeah, I also really like Clefable, just because like friend guard, and it's just like redirection, all the things that you want. And for draft, and you don't have to pick Clefairy, it's very nice.
Yeah. And I said seasonal drafter. So watch out for Ally. All right.
And I never noticed the tower from Moleville City in the logo, but I just finally noticed that.
Oh yeah, because probably the logo usually is too tiny for it to see.
Yeah.
There we go, one of our favorite teams. So High Fans Club. I crack every time I hear. So Red gotta snipe a lot. I will tell you that. But I do think the fact that she got Tundi and Spectre as her first 2 picks made up for it, because she also ended up getting Urshifu, Dark, and Clefairy. Also, Tentacruel is pretty scary. I forgot if it was Series 7 or 9, but weakness policy Tentacruel is very, 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 very scary if you're not prepped for it, because it's such a bulky mom and so annoying. And then, you know, like, she has Clefairy too. So, like, yeah, maybe Sylveon and Flareon and Brionne don't get to see a lot, but she has a lot of options to stop you, like, you know, from intimidating or from snarling. Like, then she got Tesserina to stop priority moves. Stunner is actually can be pretty scary. This like white guard, it's bulky, she has options. And while I don't think it's like the strongest team, I think given after her initial snipes, she got really valuable picks, is what I will consider her draft being. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is very much a Bred team. And she picked a lot of mons that like she's really comfortable with that others might not be able to play. But like she knows them really well, like Spectre, she used a ton in Series 7 and 9. Thunderous she uses all the time. And so like things, and Clefairy also in Urshifu. So like kind of similar to Nibs also, like if you have a ton of experience with them, you could just like outskill your opponent just because like you know all of the calcs, you know like how the mons play. So that could be like a huge advantage for her. And then also like Serena is like always one of the best draft league mons just because like it's so powerful. It can also, like you said, like it can get rid of priority, and it also just like has tons of offensive pressure. It can also like do things like taunt, and then also yeah, they're like different. Like Sylveon also, if your team doesn't have a steel type, Sylveon could just like get a boost with throat spray and just like not be able to be killed. And yeah, also yeah, what was the other one? Oh yeah, Brionne. Even like, yes, it's kind of like memey, but like it can work. It's one of the only mons that on our team that can work under Trick Room. It gets Sing, it gets Perish Song, so you could like with this hyper offense core, you could like, get 2 quick KOs and then just like win with Perish Song. Yeah, and I think the only kind of like big weakness on the team is also kind of similar to a lot of Bred teams before Series 12, which is that there aren't really a lot of options to beat Trick Room. Like Clefairy can click after you, but it only gets up to I think like 48 speed or 49 speed, so then a lot of stuff is going to underspeed her team. And yeah, same with like it's definitely not great if your Trick Room mode or your way to beat Trick Room is Clefairy and Brionne. Yeah, but I also think like it's definitely like it's a like you can tell it's a well-built team, like, and she's playing to her strengths, which is a good thing.
Yep. In Comfort, I have learned is should always be priority, and then you try to fix for meta teams.
Yeah.
All right, we got the Shallow supporters, coached by Atmosphere VGC, aka Nathan, and hey, this is actually really funny. for those that do not know, Nathan actually, the way he wanted to draft is, I believe he said he wanted to play BGC 17, or was it 18 or 19? He wanted to like just get mons from the old gens, and he got away with most of it. He got Celesteela and Garchomp right away. I do think that he probably should have gone with Arcanine because Patu like sniped it. He was heartbroken, but Torracat is a very good replacement. And then I think overall this is a very strange team, but much like our other players, Atmosphere is just good at making weird things at glance work well for him. I mean, Garchomp, Celesteela, Torracat alone is a very strong core. So he just, and Alolan Marowak is not bad. Finny and the Thunderous are not bad either. Ninetales, I mean, Blizzard, Aurora Veil. While it's not like at glance the strongest team looking, I think it has ways, and Atmosphere is just gonna make it work and surprise us. That's my take. What about you, Hannah?
I really like all of like the high tier picks, like Celesteela, Garchomp, and Feeny are all like a really good core. And yeah, some of the picks also kind of I'm a little confused about, like the second free tier being Roserade, but I also haven't looked into that mon as much as other mons. There might be like some really good support or something. And yeah, I also really like, I'm kind of confused about Alola Ninetales, since there aren't any other Hail mons, but I guess it's possible that like if you add, because it can be put on Aurora Veil, so you get both screens up in, like right away, and then it's like how do you beat Celesteela and Feeny, and even like Buzzwole, maybe like you could go with like a really bulky Buzzwole set with like Cobra Berry or something, and then just like not be able to KO it. And then even like Alolan Marowak it's like part of it was, I think it was on like Jamodri's team in Series 9, where it's like Celesteela, Garchomp, and Alolan Marowak. So that itself is like just a really good core. There's no one to set Trick Room, which I think could be an issue, and there's also not any redirection. So those are two things that could be like problems, but at the same time, like he has Shellos for slow yawns, and he has Marowak as a Trick Room on. So yeah, so I think overall definitely also a well-built team. And even like watch out for Klinklang, because I've seen Klinklang being used in like the High Roller League, and like never underestimate like weakness policy with the Clear Body Mon. That's just like a mini Metagross. Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm scared now. And just like Atmosphere has helped people in the High Roller, so maybe that's why he picked it. Man, I'm scared now about that. And probably maybe that's why he has Torracat, and probably why he wanted like Arcanine, because of Fast Snarl and Intimidate. But yeah, I think that the way the team is probably gonna work is just starts Max Quake, Max Steel Spike, just out bulk. I think that's a way he might be playing, but we'll see. I mean, Atmosphere might surprise me. All right, and to the last but not least team, Binu Ko No Skill by our good friend Phillips.
I love that it's was in the logo.
I know, right? So I talked to Phil because some stuff did come up for him, and his team could have been a lot stronger for sure, but he also wanted to pick mons that he liked, like Mimikyu and Inteleon could have been changed to something like Hatchery and Liepard, or maybe another like duo of stuff too. But he decided to go with that, and I think it's actually really good. Like Inteleon ignores Storm Drain and Redirection. Mimikyu, awesome like Sword Dance or Trick Room Setter. Binu and Torkoal, I mean, what can I say? They're just OP. Corviknight, very strong Pokemon. Also, the Gma moves, removes terrain. Sometimes that comes info. He admits that Nidoking was a mistake. We all talked about it. Turtonator, again, really, really, really strong Pokemon. He couldn't get Registeel, so Tornado went at it. And then Stakataka and Liopard. I mean, what are you gonna do when the Stakataka just max guards and Liopard copycats? Like, you know, it's very similar to the Hatterene way. Then you have Hydreigon for a little bit of a fast move if needed. And then for the memes, Shedinja has been selected. I hate Shedinja. I lost to it twice in the IC, and I'm almost 90%. I need to look at my videos, but 90% sure it was to the same dude. Shedinja is annoying. I think people are gonna have to make sure to respect it. And overall, I think, I mean, this is it could have a couple better months, but overall I think it's a pretty solid draft. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that a lot of the mons are versatile. Like you said, Mimikyu can be offensive or support, and Talion also can be like that. And then same with even with Hydreigon, like you got Levitate, but then you also get, like, you can do Snarl. Yeah, it can click Snarl and some other support moves. And then Corviknight could be really good for similar reasons like Gyarados, where, like, it was an early meta threat in Gen 8, and then as, like, the DLC came out and you had mons like Regieleki, it fell off. And so that I think could be like a really good team. I like the cores that are here. One thing that I think will be interesting to see that I'm kind of is like, do any of these mons get screens? Like, does Liopard get screens?
Corviknight gets screens, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. And even though it's kind of like a slow mon, so I feel like Sun in general wants to play slow, and you want to get, like, screens, Intimidate, and, like, just, yeah, get your screens out, or screens. Yeah, get your Gmax move up, and then, like, Vinelash, and then stall out everything and just kind of, like, win by doing damage over time. And this team doesn't necessarily have that, which I think could be an issue. But then again, you have, like, Ally Switch on multiple mons, and you can steal turns that way, and you can maybe, like, I don't know, you use your Gmax moves, but then you, like, have Will-O-Wisp on Mimikyu, so there are definitely options. But I do wonder if, like he said, Nidoking was a mistake, so it maybe, like, he switches that out for, like, a mon that can do prankster screens, or if just fast screens in general.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, I also really like the team. We all know I love Venusaur and Torkoal. Like, any team with Venusaur is, like, a good team to me.
Alright, now that we have gone through all 14 teams, man, that was a lot. This is a rough ranking that we have put. Not reflecting of the players, just 100% mostly on the mons. And as we mentioned, they're teams that to us seem weird, but because of who the player is, probably will rank a little higher in the end. So everyone watching this, no hard feelings, okay? No hard feelings. But this is the power ranking we have currently. Joey, I think right now first, just because I think it's probably the most well-balanced team. After that, I think Fruity is the next one. And we mentioned also, we really like the whole, there's a Trick Room mode and a Tailwind mode for Angela's team. I mean, both Hive and Pato, Dragapult is super OP in general when it comes to drafts. It's like, if the first 3 people don't draft Dragapult, a lot of people say you're throwing. Then Green Snarl again, super OP. From 6 to 14, it was a struggle. Okay, so from 6 to 14, we just, there was like just a little couple things here. For example, I said there are some teams that are really weak to Trick Room, or really weak to like a strong water Pokemon. So I'm not gonna go super in detail, but and I say no hard feelings, guys. But this is roughly what we thought will be based mostly only on the Pokemons you drafted. You guys can, there's 8 weeks to surprises. We'll update this as it goes. But that is it. Any final comments, thoughts, Hannah, before we end this?
No, just that I'm really excited to see all the matches and just like see how everything goes. And good luck to everyone. And remember that whoever wins gets to pick the Pokemon on their team that I have to cosplay. So yeah, obviously we're not tryharding, but like just remember that when you're like prepping.
I think that's gonna that got them so super excited. Well, guys, thank you for watching, and see ya next week. Bye.